Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Cindy the Scrapologist. This is part 2 of a 3-part series. In part 1, which I'll put the link below if you haven't seen that yet, I turned an old book into a mini album by folding the pages. So I show you how to do that. In this video, I'm going to show you how I then taped up the pages and matted them. And in video 3, I will do a full flip through and show you how I embellish the journal. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more free tutorials, and let's get started on matting this gorgeous book. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Tim Holtz vintage photo, and I'm going to ink the edges of any page that I'm going to be working on. I'm not going to show it every time I do it, but I'm also going to ink up any pockets or flaps or anything that we made in the first video. And here I'm just affixing the pocket to that first page, and then we will mat it. I'm going to leave all of these that I'm going to do with this punch. I'm going to leave that till the end, and I will tape this down later because I don't know what I'm going to put here yet. I want to see what I have left for paper. So I'm going to leave this for now. Okay. And I'm just putting this clip here because it helps me to keep everything open while I'm working. Our next page was this, which we ended up doing an angle pocket, and then an undercut accordion page. So let me remind myself what we did here. Here's our angle page, and here's our undercut accordion page. So what I'm going to do for this is fold this under. Now that I know that's kind of the angle that I want, tape that down quickly. And this will get over here. So what I need to do, I have a little tear at the top there that I want to repair. Okay. I'm going to eventually be taping this down, so I want something to go in here and I want something to go on here. So what it's sometimes nice to do when you have two sides like this that are different, use the two sides because they always coordinate. So I'll probably put this darker brown, not probably, I'm going to put the darker brown on the back, and I'm going to put this, probably this piece right here on the angle pocket. To do that, I'm just going to put that in here as close as I can. I am going to try to leave a little bit of a border around, but it doesn't matter if I do or not, really. And then do my pencil line where that goes. And then I will cut this out. Okay, so I cut this out. I did this part with my X-Acto knife because it didn't fit diagonally in my paper trimmer. But now I have this triangular piece, and this can fit right there. I won't have to waste very much paper at all. So I'm just going to ink my edges, as I always do, just to clean it up a little bit. And I'm just going to ink up any book page that's showing here because it's not going to go on completely perfectly. Okay, and now I'm ready to cut this piece out and put it up there. Okay, so I'm going to move that out of my way. I'm going to make about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of a border. Stick that down. Check on it. Looks really good. A little more ink right here. There's book page showing. And then I'm going to take tape and I'm going to put the tape here and here. Now our undercut accordion pocket I'm going to decorate later because I'm thinking I'm going to be using some of the smaller elements. And then on this one we did not have a pocket. So I'm going to put something on here. I do like this, and this kind of matches with that. So I think I'm going to cut this out and put it on here. This right here is going to be another one of these punched elements, so I'm going to leave that. Our next page was what we made into an angle pocket, I believe, and then we were going to do a flap in the middle here with the gray cardstock. So let's work on the angle pocket first. I'm going to go ahead and fold that over and tape it. And just like the other one, let's find, oh, that's right, I made the undercut page already. I forgot we did that. Glued 2 pieces of paper together, so that's good. So let me find another piece of paper that would look nice for this, and this is probably going to be one of these. Yes, these fit really nicely. Probably one on each side. So let me get something, it's upside down, but let me get something. Yeah, that's going to look really pretty. Get something that goes with that. This will look very nice. Yes. That'll look nice for that will look nice. My southern roots are coming out here. That will look very nice on the angle pocket. So let me make sure that's in there evenly. And, oops. Draw that in with my pencil. Let me go cut that out. And when I was cutting this out, I noticed, I was looking a little more at the detail here, and I noticed that there's an element here with an envelope stuck inside. So I'm going to take my X-Acto knife, or my, not my X-Acto knife, my Stanley bookbinder's tool here. And I am going to cut out, I'm not going to go all the way to the edge, but I'm going to start around here. And I'm going to cut out a little bit of that doily. and a little bit of this. And leave at least a half an inch there. And let's see if I went all the way through. Yeah, okay. So now what I have created here is, I pick it up. We have to glue it down properly, but here's another pocket that we can put some things in. So we have to be careful not to glue this down. Let me ink this up. I could make another vintage envelope to go in there to sort of match this one. That would be nice. So I'm going to put tape around the edges and a little bit on the top here, but I'm not putting tape. I'm not putting tape here. So think of this as a pocket. This is going to have tape here, and then this whole thing can have tape. Okay, so I am going to want to put tape. Here's my pocket. I am going to want to put a little bit of tape here above the pocket, and then inside my triangle here, a couple of pieces. Our pocket is still intact there. And then I have, I don't know what if I want to use any of this for in here. Let's see. That, although that would be pretty, wouldn't it? Having that across the top. Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and do that. So this one's going to be a little longer than the last one because I want to use this piece. So I'm going to cut it down. Well, what the heck? There we go. Upside down and backwards. 5 inches. So here's this. Just going to go behind here. That's going to be really pretty. I can't believe I've held on to this paper for this song. I just love Stamparia's paper. So I tend to not use it. And it just sits and sits, and I need to take it out and use it and love it and make it into something beautiful. And again, I did decide to leave a little bit of a border there because I think that looks pretty, and I will tape this down. There, that's really nice. Ooh. Can you imagine you get this, you open it up, and that beautiful page is in there. Just gorgeous. Okay, and I am going to cut these two out and adhere them to my undercut page here. But now I have to decide, which ones I want. I like this one because there's space for journaling here. So that would look nice there. And then for this one, I guess I like that one. That's really pretty. Oops, sorry. Okay. Yes, I'm going to just commit to that. And there is going to be book page showing because it's not exactly the same size as the card, the journal card. Put that down. My goodness, I don't know if you just heard that clip, clip, clop, but An Amish buggy just went by on the way to the store, and it is 8 degrees out and snowing. Ah, he looked freezing. I don't know how they do it. He's heading up to the store, and his farm is over a half hour away by car because I shop there. I really admire him. My goodness. Okay, isn't that pretty? So now I have to decide what's going to go here. This is just another one of the pages that we're going to have the border punch here. So it's just another one of those side pocket pages. I like that. Very beautiful. And so then I have my journal card that I'm going to put on the back here. But I decided that what I would like to do, whoops, I think that's upside down, is instead of showing on this book page, I have one of these, I have a piece of the gray cardstock, and I'm going to make this kind of more three-dimensional. So we have a little bit of the paper showing, then the gray cardstock, and then this card. It's always good to burnish it down. Now that is just beautiful. Just beautiful. You can't go wrong with this paper. Let me get that edge. Okay, and then leaving this here until we get to the punch. Oops, a little bit of tape showing there and sticking to things. Our next set of pages is another pocket like this and an undercut page with a cool little element on it. So for this one, I forgot what I was going to do here. Oh, I know. I wasn't mimicking that one. I was going to leave this as a flap, and then I was going to put something on here like this. That's what I was going to do to kind of mimic this. Okay, so let's make a pocket for here. If you make mini albums, you all know how to make pockets. And actually, I just found this. I had made this in the first class. So this, if you didn't watch the first video, this pocket is 4.5 by 5. And then I scored on 2 sides. Of course, depending on your book, your measurements, these measurements might not work for you. And then I'm going to cut off the corner, adhere some double-sided tape, and just to give it some interest, I am going to use my corner rounder and round this corner at 1/2 inch. So there's our pocket, and that's going to go on right here. Because there's, sorry, it's gray on white, but because there's a lot of book page showing here, I am going to cover this whole page. with some of the pattern paper. Okay, so I cut two pieces, one for here and one for here. And I'm going to go ahead and ink those up and then tape them down. And when I go in and embellish the journal, I will figure out what I'm going to put on here. I would really like to put these two right there, but then I would need two more on the back here, and I don't know how many of these elements I'm going to have left, so I'm going to just wait on that and continue decorating this. So now we need to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to choose a piece for here, the same piece for here, so that it goes across very nicely. It's easier to cut and all of that. I keep pulling this out and then not wanting to use it. So let me choose another one, and I will ink this up and cover this. I have this one down, but I do need to tack down my little flap here. This is going to be one of the pieces with the trim, with the edge punch, but I do want to make sure that my edge I can use this, that my edge is taped down really well. Okay, and I already inked it up. Now I can put my, everything's stuck to it. Now I can put my page on, my pattern paper. And I'm cutting everything about, like I mentioned earlier, about 1/8 of an inch shorter than it needs to be. Oh, this is turning out just beautiful. Just beautiful. And then this is going to get glued down once we put our edge punch on. And let's go to our next page. So the next page, let's see. Oh, was I going to put a pocket here? Okay, I'm losing track of what I'm doing here. Oh yeah, I was going to put a pocket here. But, you know, that's getting a little thick right there, so I will use this somewhere else. So here we have another angle pocket. Let's look at our book, at our mini album. Okay, here we have a flap that comes out, and then, two flaps that come out. 1, 2, with a pocket, with a double pocket underneath. Okay, so I think this is where I will put, I think I am going to tear this out. Let's see, but if I do that, okay, I don't want this anymore. So I think I'm going to adhere that down, because if I tear it out, then I'm going to get a problem in here, and I'm going to have to glue these together anyway. So let me tape these two together. Okay, so I taped those together because I just didn't want another angle pocket. We've done enough of those, I think, already. So what I want to do is work on these flaps next, because I want to put the flaps down before we put any paper on here. I'm going to cut those out of the gray cardstock that I have. And I just have to decide how big I want them. Okay, so they're going to fold in, so make sure that they're not as wide as your book page. And I just happen to have this piece here. My book page is about 5 inches wide. We need 1/2 of an inch for the hinge, and this is 5 inches wide, so this is a good width. It's not going to get bound up here. And I like the height, so I'm going to cut it in half this way. So it's actually ended up being 3.5 and 3.5 by 5. Next, I'm going to take my scoreboard and I'm just going to make it into a flap. So on one short edge, I'm going to score it 1/2 inch. Fold that in and burnish it. Same with this one. And so they're going to go like this and like this right next to each other. My little edge trimmer that I use to cut my tape as I'm going along just fell in the trash can that's next to me, and I do hope I remember to dig it out of there. But to get up, I have to undo my microphone, and it's just a whole big process. So let's hope I remember it. Okay, just kind of measure, just kind of eyeball. Decide if you want them right next to each other or if you want a little bit of a gap. I usually do a little bit of a gap. Fold that under, and I'm just going to adhere it to my page all the way at the edge. And do the same with this other one. Okay. So now we have our 2 flaps, and now I'm going to, no, I can't put this down yet, but this is going to go here, and that's going to look really cool, very interactive. But I need to put paper on here first before I stick this down. Then over here, this is, or do I want to put the pocket here? Could do that. Why don't we do that? That way there's not too much bulk. Okay, so this is the pocket that I made earlier with the 2 flaps, and then I took the corner and rounded it. The 2 flaps here, and I'm going to, this just happens to fit right here, so the pocket can open up here and here. And then this is going to be the other pocket with the edge trim, the edge punch right there. So let me get a piece of paper for here and for here. So there's that, very pretty, and this is where our edge punch is going. So now I can put my pocket on here. Very wonderful. Very nice. So this one really looks like a mini album page. We have our pocket here, and we have 2 flaps. That's going to look really cool once it's done. We can have a piece of paper. Yeah, we'll decorate the pocket when we go through decorating it. Okay, so we're going to skip this page because this is where the decorative edge is going. And turn the page again, and we have another angled page. Okay, let's see what's in our mini album. This one is another flap, then an angled page. Oh, that's right, an angled page that opens, flaps, and then a pocket. Okay, I remember now what I was trying to do here. So this is going to be, this is not going to get adhered down. This is going to be an angled page. Now this, really I should have stuck that down to there to make this a little thicker. But that's okay. Once we put paper on here, It'll be just fine. So this time we're going to do another flap, but it's going to be a little larger. And this is really nice if you're actually going to be using this for photos. This is a really nice place for a bunch of photo mats. Okay, so I'm gonna make the flap first out of the gray paper. And that's going to be very simple. I'm just going to make a square. And again, it needs to be less wide than my page here, which is 5 inches. So I'm going to do about 4 3/4, but I have to add a 1/2 inch for my flap. So I'm going to do 5 1/4 and then by 4 3/4. That will make a 4 3/4 by 4 3/4 square flap. Okay, so in case that was confusing, this is 4 3/4 by 5 1/4, and then on the 5 1/4 inch side I am going to score at a 1/2 inch, so when I fold that I now have a square that's 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. Just like we did with the other flap, we're going to adhere this first onto the page with double-sided tape. And I have a bunch of flips and flaps here. I'm going to put my little binder clip back on there until it's time to decorate here, then it will be in the way. So I'm just going to put my flap, so I've folded my flap, and I'm just going to put it at the edge, all the way to the edge of my paper, centered vertically. Okay, whoops. Definitely need to reinforce this, because see how it's doing that? But this is going to be adhered to it eventually when we do the trim edge. So I'm going to put a piece of paper here and here, and then when we flip this, I'm going to put a piece of paper here. I'm going to put a different piece of paper on this little flap here, and then this is going to be stuck down, and this is going to be our trim edge. So I cut out this piece the same way that we have before, where I put it behind and then I did a pencil mark. But because we're going to be doing the other side as well, I'm going to use the same template like this. Put it on, well, it's not going to work on that sheet of paper. Put it on a different sheet of paper. And use this as my template for the other side. So I stuck these down, but for this one on the other side, put this flap up because we are going to have that come down and be another decorative element. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down, and even though this was just one page to begin with, we're going to have 2 pieces of pattern paper on, so it's really strengthening it. It's going to be just fine. So I'm putting that on there. And it matches up perfectly because we used the other side as our template. And then this is going to get folded down. And we're going to do something with this when we decorate it. Could even just keep it as a book page and put some things on here. I don't know, but it's probably going to need some reinforcement. But that's what we have now. Very nice. Okay, so we need a piece of paper here. And I'm so glad that I have another set of this paper because I'm running out. Let's see, this, ooh, look at that. That just happens to be, I love when that happens. That is the exact same size that I need. The exact correct size, that I need. So I'm going with it. I'm just going to ink it up and stick it down. Okay, so I stuck that down. That looks really pretty. Oh, I can't wait to embellish this. That's going to be the fun part. So this is going to be where our edge punch goes. So we're going to leave that there for now. And we're almost done. We're almost to the end of our pages here. And I am kind of running out of paper, so I think we have one more to do. Let's see what our... Oh, okay, that's the one we just did. And we were going to do an angle pocket there, but I think it's going to get a little thick if we do that. So then we're at the end of the book where we have a double angle pocket here and here, and then our belly band. So I think what needs to happen is I have an extra page. I need to tape this to here, and then we can do our last page, and this will just be plain because this is that beautiful mulberry paper here that I don't want to ruin. So I'm going to tape this together and I'll be right back. Okay, so I glued those down so that what I have left is this page that I just glued down, which is the back of the one that's going to have the edge punch. And then we have the regular angled pocket that we've been doing. This one is going to be glued down. So I'm going to tape this down. Oops, went overboard with my tape there. Okay, I am going to tape that down. I cut this out and look how pretty that is. It fits perfectly right there. It was just a pretty element on the paper. As you're cutting, kind of look to see what's on there and test it out to see where you want the different elements to lie. But then I was flipping through and I have this other angled piece left and it actually fits on there. So I'm going to, instead of ruining another piece of paper, I'm going to just trim this down and then tape it on. Okay, so I got those two down. This is the last page. This is where the edge punch is going to go. And that's the end. So this is what we have so far. So it's perfectly fine that we removed that many pages because we're starting to get some bulk here. Right now it wants to fan open, but I probably am going to end up having to put it in a book press or put some heavy books on it once I'm finished. This video has gotten a little longer than I expected, so I'm going to do a part 3. That will be the final one where we decorate the cover and then start embellishing the inside of this glorious mini album junk journal hybrid. I don't know what to call it yet, but the decorating part is the most fun. You guys have already seen it. You see, I haven't. Through the magic of TV, you got to see it. I don't know what this is going to look like, but I'm excited. I'm in love with this thing. And I will see you in part 3, and we'll decorate and embellish.